When a drought caused a reservoir in Spain to dry up, it exposed a long-lost ancient monument. As a record-breaking summer sears the land across Western Europe, water has become a scarce resource. And owing to the extreme heat, the Valdecanes Reservoir, which has dominated the landscape in the Spanish region of Extremadura for more than 50 years, is beginning to evaporate. But as the body of water starts to disappear, something incredible, not to mention mysterious, emerges from the depths below. That secret was only revealed after weeks of a deadly heat wave that had affected countries such as France and Germany as well as Spain. And as the resultant drought transformed the land, emergency measures began to come into force. But while the cities and their inhabitants sweltered, the unexpected surprise in the reservoir reared its ugly head. So what exactly did the water conceal? Well, thousands of years ago, a mysterious people lived in this now remote part of the Iberian Peninsula. And while much of these individuals' culture has since been lost to time, some relics nevertheless remained for those who know where to look. In fact, in this particular spot, locals have heard the legend of an ancient monument for many years. And now its moment in the spotlight has finally arrived. Located in western Spain, the Extremadura region has always had a hot climate with little in the way of rainfall. As a result, when the dictator General Franco set about developing the country in the mid-20th century, it may have seemed logical to construct a reservoir and a dam in the area. In any case, in 1963, workers flooded the countryside near the village of Peraleda de la Mata to create the Valdecanes Reservoir. And for decades, the facility helped to provide water in the region that's cursed with often crippling heat. During the summer of 2019, though, a meteorological phenomena created conditions that were even tougher than normal. Beginning in June, a spell of atypically warm weather swept through much of Western Europe, with the mercury hitting record highs across the continent. And in this corner of western Spain, that meant the onset of a terrible drought, with some farmers in the region likely to suffer severe financial hardship as a result of the heat and its consequences. All across the region, the drought transformed the land into an arid expanse with little in the way of vegetation. And in Extremadura, even the vast reserves of the Valdecanes Reservoir were affected by the unusual weather. Yes, as the weeks crept by, the waters in the lake began to recede. But while residents of the region likely fretted about their dwindling water supplies, there may have been something else about the situation that piqued their curiosity. It was said, you see, that a remarkable artifact lay hidden under the surface of the reservoir. Would the drought finally cause its secrets to be revealed? According to locals, the source of this legend is a mysterious ancient monument known as the Dolmen de Guadalperal. Believed to have been created several thousands of years ago, the structure is built from approximately 150 stones that have been arranged in an oval pattern of some 16 feet in diameter. Apparently, the rocks, known as menhirs, would once have held aloft a series of large flat stones laying horizontally, thus forming an enclosed chamber. Sometimes referred to as a dolmen, this space would have been reached via a long corridor stretching almost 70 feet. And at the entrance to the monument, a number of carvings would have been found. Furthermore, according to Angel Castano, who grew up in the area, the monument was built using stones from outside the local area. The site would have been created over thousands of years using granite transported from kilometers away, he told The Local in August 2019. Sadly, though, the exact method of the monument's construction has since been lost to time. But although it's certainly mysterious, the ancient site is far from unique. In fact, its familiar structure has led some to dub it the Spanish Stonehenge. And as the case with the famous megalith in southern England, the dolmen is believed to have once been the center of both religious and memorial rites. In fact, according to Castano, these stones may initially have fulfilled a number of different roles. Like Stonehenge, they formed a sun temple and a burial ground, he explained. They seem to have a religious but also economic purpose, being at one of the few points in the river where it's possible to cross, so it was a sort of trading hub. Despite its ancient heritage, however, the dolmen has remained relatively incognito over the years. Indeed, although it's believed that the Romans were aware of its existence, the monument wasn't officially discovered until the 1920s. At around that time, the German historian Hugo Obermeier began investigating the area. While examining the site, Obermeyer discovered a number of relics, including ancient ceramics, axes, and knives. In addition, he came across the remains of a settlement that's thought to date from the period when the monument was built. And along with the traces of ancient residences, the anthropologist also identified sharpening stones and mills. For some reason, however, Obermeyer's findings weren't made public until more than 3 decades later, in 1960. By that point, Franco's mission to modernize Spain was well underway. And for the Dolmens de Guadalperal, which found itself at the heart of one of these new developments, this meant a rather undignified fate. 3 years after the publication of Obermeyer's work, in fact, the site of the dolmen was flooded in order to create the Valdecanas Reservoir. And just like that, a site that could have rivaled Stonehenge in terms of significance and appeal disappeared, taking its ancient secrets with it to a watery grave. Yet, even after it had vanished beneath the surface of Franco's new reservoir, the dolmen wasn't always completely hidden from then on. Over the years, you see, the water level would sometimes drop enough for the monument's highest points to re-emerge. In fact, a drought in the 1990s dried up the region so much that the entire upper section of the dolmen could be seen. And as for people who'd grown up around the reservoir, these occasional glimpses of the dolmen were enough to inspire a local legend. Then, when the hot summer of 2019 scorched the landscape of Extremadura, that myth soon collided with reality, as the ancient monument revealed itself in all its glory. According to Castano, who lives close to the monument, the reappearance of the structure was a spectacular sight. "All my life, people have told me about the dolmen," he informed Atlas Obscura in September 2019. "I'd seen parts of it peeking out from the water before, but this is the first time I've seen it in full. It's spectacular because you can appreciate the entire complex for the first time in decades." Then, with the dolmen exposed, curious onlookers were able to form their own theories about the mysterious monument. It was now possible, after all, to study the engraved menhir at the entry to the chamber. And while experts have historically accepted that the stone depicts a human and a snake, some other explanations have since arisen. Check out these other videos from Let Me Know. If you haven't made the move to subscribe to our channel, all you need to do is click on that red subscribe button. Thank you for watching.